Hey fellas, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah,
Thanks for
good.
having me on the show.
Oh, mate, our pleasure. Thanks for coming on. Bright and early, mate. Bright. Now, what time are you out of the scratcher every morning?
Yeah, yeah. I'm up at 5 in the morning.
Wow, okay. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
long after me, mate. My alarm goes at 4:20, so that's pretty good
All
going.
right.
Hey,
Yeah, yeah,
question for you. There's a
yep,
story doing the rounds out of the UK. You know how the Women's World Cup, Football World Cup's been on, and the Pommers
yeah,
went
yeah.
pretty well. Well, Madame Tussauds in London are planning a waxwork of one of the England Lionesses. And now the big conversation is about which one of them it should be. And that got me thinking, mate, if the Warriors go all the way and win the grand final this year, who's the one player you'd have in wax at Madame Tussauds? Be yourself. I mean, you're probably the one with closest to having a modelling career out of the Warriors squad, are you?
So what's that? Sorry to get waxed.
Yeah. Oh no, not to get waxed. You know what? Madame Tussauds is?
Nah, I have
Oh,
no idea.
oh no, mate! It's a place over in England, and they make like exact replicas of people, of famous people, and you go in there and you have your photo with them. They're made of
Oh, that's
wax.
it. That's, I reckon. Obviously Sean, like if obviously Sean Johnson will be the first person to mind. But I thought you said get wax. I was going to say the first person that came to mind was Tohu Harris.
Mate, I was going to say, all you boys would be used to getting waxed, wouldn't you? They,
Nah.
and it'd have to be Sean because he got my thought on this. Is that it'd have to be Sean because he could double as Honorary Iglesias, or it would have to be DWZ because he could double as Lionel Richie. So you get all these people going, oh, it's Enrique and Iglesias. Yeah. Hey, mate, obviously you guys are six in a row, going for your seventh up this weekend against the Dragons when they come to town on Friday night. Mate, how are the boys actually feeling? Because there's a lot of talk in the camp that there's just a little bit of a flat spot in the Warriors going into September. But how are you guys? How are you actually feeling, mate?
Yeah. No, it's a great point. I mean, look, like any game in the NRL is going to be a challenge. So, we've obviously won the last few games, but they've been close ones. And I think at the moment teams are kind of coming out and kind of throwing anything at us, which is something that we're kind of trying to adapt to. And to get the 2 wins like that, it's a positive. But at the same time, you want to make sure you're playing good footy heading into September. But I think this week's very important for us. The Dragons, they like last week they nearly beat Storm there, so they're on their toes, and like we've got to make sure we turn up on Friday, with a good attitude and start the game a lot better than what we did last week.
Yeah, it was a lot like Manly. They went really well against Penrith, didn't they? And all but their kicking game, they come and really had a crack at you guys and the resilience that you're showing, especially for 80 minutes. You guys, even though it is a little bit scratchy, Marcelo, you guys are getting the job done. Mate, I've got to ask the question. There's a lot of talk about the left edge and of course 3 tries scored down there this weekend. What have you guys been working on down there? People say, it's Marcelo, and I say, you guys have no idea. To get drawn in through the middle of the park is really where the problems start. Are you sorting out that middle and that edge disconnect at the moment?
Yeah, for sure we are. It was something last week that we were really upset with, and especially myself. I didn't play my best game last week. It was something that I was frustrated with. But in saying that, we did connect afterward and have a good chat, watch the game back, and had a look at where we could be better. I just thought we had lapses there, and we didn't stick to our processes in defense on the edge there. And at times that's always going to hold up. Like our processes will always hold up. What Webby's put in place will always hold up. But I just thought we had some lapses there, and we didn't, no matter what the middle's doing, if they're not doing their job, we still have an opportunity to solve issues, And I just thought last week we didn't stick to our defensive processes, and that's what put us under a bit of stress.
Mate, how's the injury count going at the moment? I know there's not a lot of talk coming out there, but Sean, obviously, with not kicking goals, there's a little bit of a concern there about him. You had DWZ go down with that knee injury. Is he going to be all right on the weekend? Of course, Tamari Martin got named on the extended bench. Will we see him play?
Yeah. Well, I'm not too sure what's going on with T there. But like you said, I think this time of the year it's just like that. You got some boys carrying some niggles. It's been a long season, and I think Dow will be fine. Sean's just been carrying a bit of a quad strain, but he's tough. He's done it for years now, so he knows how to handle that. But yeah, I think it's just that time of the year, and the boys are just like normally this time of the year we're not prepping for finals, so it's pretty exciting for us. But at the same time, we've got to make sure we look after our bodies as well.
Has the way you guys prep for a game changed at all as you get closer to the end of the regular season, mate? You can, I guess, you can see the top four beckoning and postseason not far away.
I wouldn't say it's changed. I think, if anything, we've kind of doubled down on our training, and Webby's been real consistent with his messages, and we've been making sure that we're, I guess, training with a bit more intensity, if anything. So, like I said before, we haven't been putting together good performances for 80, but we've still been getting the win. So I think, this week and next week and leading into the finals, that's what we want to do. We want to put together a good team performance and get some confidence out of it.
Mate, last week you had Mr. Stephen Adams at the club. You've had some superstars around you, Israel Adesanya as well. What's it like, mate, when you've got those type of superstars coming to the club and wanting to rub shoulders with you?
Yeah, mate, it's pretty buzzy. Yeah, it's awesome to have them around, and just for their support as well. Also Kai, Kai's been our wrestle coach, and just having him around, his wisdom, how he approaches his fights and things like that. It's pretty cool to be able to just speak to the people like that, and realising their sports they've done so well. So yeah, it's awesome to have them around and to have their support as well.
Yeah, and talking about support, 24,000 people last Friday night. You've got your last home game of regular season this week. It's going to be absolutely massive. What's it like, Marcelo? Like the way you guys are running out, the shutout with the lights and everyone with their camera lights on. It must be such a good feeling running out there first thing in the evening.
Yeah, for sure. I've never been, honestly, I've never played in crowds like this at Mount Smart. Our fans, it's just ridiculous what they do for us. And, they deserve everything. They deserve these wins as much as we do, probably even more. We've been over in Australia the last couple of years, and they've been starved of, their team. So, to be able to win some games for them is special. But yeah, we just got to keep doing that then.
Do you? I know it's probably a little bit hard to say because it's a gradual thing that'll happen. But somebody brought it up yesterday, Marcelo, that I guess the intestinal fortitude and maybe a little bit of the mental toughness that the Warriors are displaying this year might be as a result of the going through those trials and having to spend all that time offshore in Australia and go through all that stuff, because we saw it happen with the Breakers. They had a torrid time when they were based in Aussie, came back here and dominated. Have you guys noticed that? Have you personally noticed it, that you're mentally, I don't know, maybe tougher or more resilient?
Yeah, it's a great point. I think for the boys that are from New Zealand originally, obviously being home is essential. Family's everything. And especially to our boys as well. It's essential to have their family around. But I think it has played a big impact in that. With the boys being happy and stuff like that. But I'm not sure. I mean, being away, just gives you the opportunity to be a bit closer to your mates, I think, and you kind of see each other every day. You're kind of in each other's pockets and things like that. But coming back here, nothing much has changed as well. We're still pretty a close group, and even with the new boys that are coming, we're all pretty close. So yeah, I think it's just one of those things. I think we've kind of just had enough of where we've been, and we've worked really hard to get to where we are. But there's still a lot more to go. Yeah,
there certainly is. We're all getting pretty excited about that. Hey, what about you? It's been a pretty hectic month. You've had the Players Association and all that negotiating going on. You've got the Warriors going so well. And are you comfortable with where the game is at, Marcelo? Being a senior statesman and seeing what the development is through the CBA.
Yeah, for sure, mate. I think the game's come a long way. I was talking to Stacey Jones the other day at training, and we were just talking about back when he was playing. They only had a squad of 24. They had one head coach, I think one assistant coach and one trainer. That's what he was saying to me. And you look at the game now, most clubs have three assistant coaches, one head coach. We got a HPU that looks over, the whole kind of training program. You got an S&C coach, you got nutritionists, you got all these kind of things. So the game's come a long way. But I just think, when my time's done and when the younger boys are coming through, it's just going to be even better. So it's a positive for the game. It's good for the younger boys coming through that, we can set this platform for them, and the game's only going to get stronger. So it's a positive.
Yeah, but talking about back in my day, because I was that assistant coach for Stace when he was at the Warriors, and and even before that time, we only had 3 people when I was playing for Newcastle. So yeah, mate, it's come a hell of a long way. What are you doing at the moment, mate? Sort of in your downtime, like it's starting to ramp up. You can feel it. Everyone's getting starting to get a little bit itchy about who are we going to end up with in the finals. How's it going to play out? What are you doing for downtime to make sure that you're keeping your mental space nice and fresh?
Yeah, well, it's just me and my wife here in New Zealand at the moment. So yeah, it's just kind of me and her, and we got our own little bubble here. So we just chill. We haven't got much going on here, bro. We're quite low key. We don't like doing too much. We've got a little dog, so I like taking him for a walk here and there. And besides that, man, just like to just chill and get away from footy because, it's a bit hectic at times. But yeah, I think it keeps me real level-headed. Yeah.
Now, Marcelo, before we let you go, mate, I know you'll be packing your bag. You'll have your toiletries and everything there. We're doing a whole bunch of stuff with Chemist Warehouse at the moment because Father's Day's coming up and they've got all sorts of different fragrances. We're giving those away across the show, mate. Right. Have you got a go-to splash, mate? What's your favourite fragrance?
I've got a few, but the one I use at the moment is Coach. Yeah, it's a black bottle. I don't know what it's called, but I know Dan Carter's launched his new fragrance, so that'll be cool to go have a smell at that as well. But yeah, I just use one called Coach, but yeah, I might have to get Dan Carter's one.
Might have to go have a nudge at that, mate. What's a Marcelo Montoya fragrance going to smell like? When are you releasing that?
It's a great name for a fragrance.
Montoya.
I don't know. I don't know, mate.
Say hello to my little friend.
Hey, hey, mate. Well, tell Stace Old Spice still $10 at the Chemist Warehouse. So he can go get some of that.
He probably needs us back. If maybe we send a package to Stacey, we can.
Talking about a wax, we'll get him one of those as well.
Joyce, might have to shut Madam Two Swords down to get enough wax. Good stuff, Marcelo. Thanks for your time, brother. Go well, eh?
See you, mate.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye. What a top man, Marcelo Montoya.
Mate, he is. Ever since the beginning of the year, he was the first guy pulled out of the pre-season launch that they had down at the Maritime in the viaduct there, and he was such a good chat, just straight up, and I said to him, my first line was, here he is, the angriest man for the Warriors. And he went, I'm not the angriest man, I'm just excited. And I started laughing straight away, but he's such a good chat. And, a lot of people have been talking to me, and I will, with running the straight this afternoon from 2 o'clock, we'll get a lot of people asking about it as well, about the defence down that left edge. You've got to remember that the left edge is the last part of the puzzle. The problem starts a little bit earlier than that. Okay, it starts in the middle.
What did you make of his explanation? And
very good. Now, what they do is it's like panic stations. It's like me saying to you, Rick, okay, I'm going to shoot you with a paintball gun. And you go, okay, I'm ready for it. But then you get hit in the side by one, and another one comes from another side, and you go, where are they all coming from? That's what it's like when you're defending on the edge. You go, I've got that one, and then all of a sudden it appears, and there's 2 or 3 other options that you've got to shut down, and you make what's called a panic decision. When he's talking about systems, we've got to get back into the processes and the systems, is that together you've got to stick together and make those decisions together, because it's a lot harder for defences to choose those passes, and we saw that in the beginning of the year where were thrown intercept passes when you're all making them up at the same time. But if you go back and review it, one's coming up, one's staying back, the middle's all jamming in, and that in itself is they've all lost that system. So I'm pretty sure they've worked really hard on it. He's just copping it because he's the last bloke that the ball gets to and goes around. Yeah. And of course he can do a lot better. That's fair enough. But it has to be a group group decision to do it a lot better.
Yeah, it was an interesting chat. I love that, actually. And great to have some, honesty and a bloke fronting up and talking about it, addressing what the real issue
we had
is.
to ask that. We had to ask the question because everyone's asking the question, aren't they? They want to hear from the man himself, and I thought he nailed the answer. But it's more of a team issue to be worried about because it's that left edge defence that is really under pressure. So when you're analysing it from an offensive coach's position, so you're analysing it, you're teaching your team what sort of attack you want to play. And if you remember that play, it's one of the prettiest plays I've seen, Manly. So Manly went out, they threw it across Daly Cherry Evans to Olokoatu, and Daly Cherry Evans ran around the back of Olokoatu. They ran a lead runner and threw it back to Daly Cherry Evans on a sweep runner. So he came 2 plays on the inside. That was the second try they got him on. And I was like, mate, that is so hard to read.
There's so much going on,
There's so much going on. But as an offensive coach, they would have set that up because they would have said the process out on that left edge is really sketchy at the moment. So let's really challenge it and make them throw each other out. They throw themselves out of sync. So, mate, they'll come there. I guarantee you, St. George are coming there on the weekend. Brisbane and Penrith will be looking at it now going, we're going there. So they need to really work hard over the next 2 weeks to sort that out.
SENZ. It's Kiwi for Sport.